For the past 3 years, I've been living in my greatest moments, living a life that I never imagined I'll have. And I've showed most of the moments all over my social media. Well, not quite all of the moments, but most of them. Those moments will give you the impression that everything in life is great. Everything is as beautiful as a summer sunrise. When the reality is, everything in life is not that great, and all moments aren't perfect moments. But no one shares the not so perfect parts of their life. And I often ask why. Why do so many of us claim to be so real, yet we hide the reality of one's life? So afraid of being judged, so afraid of one's opinion, so afraid of someone saying, oh, just brush it off, or assuming that whatever you're going through is something that you can just easily forget about. But how can one brush off reality? How can you just shake off moments? Why is it that you, just because you don't know how to console me, I have to be pushed back against a wall, pushed into a corner, feel as though I'm being pushed back into the closet? I think so many people mean well, but I don't think they realize, or at least take consideration, that their words can cause so much harm to an already hurtful situation. Kind of like pouring alcohol on top of an open wound. The friends and family that are supposed to support you the most are the ones that pushing you back. The ones that's trying to force you to settle on a false reality. 36, married, and feeling as though I'm back in the closet. How can I be so in love, so happy, have the closest thing to perfection that a life can have, but still feel empty inside? How can I conceal so many years of pain? How can I forget? Why should I forget? So, in 99, when I had my daughter, she was totally unexpected. Probably the best gifts I've ever been given, but totally unexpected. When you are a teenager in college and working and on depot, the last thing you expect is to get pregnant. So I had my baby early, and after that, I did not expect to have any more kids right away. Little did I know, 2 years later, I was going to be a mama again, and little did I know, 7 months after that, um, the love of my life and one of the lights of my life both will be taken from me. So when all of that happened, being a mom again and becoming a mother again was really the last thing on my mind. And I found myself in this relationship with someone who was a friend, and it became a very hostile relationship. It was one of them situations where you both make the mistake of sleeping with each other, and instead of walking away and salvaging a friendship, you try to build a relationship. And it became very violent, and in the midst of that violence, I became pregnant. And not only was I pregnant with one blessing, but I was pregnant with two girls to be exact. Their name was supposed to be Eva and Ava. One fight became the wrong fight, and it was the fight that ended my pregnancy. After that, uh, we went through the whole back and forth situation, got pregnant again, miscarried. A few years after that, I became pregnant again, twins again. I think two is my lucky number. I really think I'm going to start playing the numbers with two in it. And unfortunately, that was a miscarriage. I never wanted to find out what the sexes of them was because it would have been too much for me. After that, I told myself, you know what? I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. I don't want to be with anybody anymore. I want to focus on my daughter and my career. I want to be a mom again. I definitely want more kids. I always wanted 3 kids, but not right now. I got time. And I did not take into account that when time stops, or let's say when time continues, your body continues too. So all this time I thought I had, I never anticipated my body changing. It changed to the point that I needed several surgeries. I had what they thought was a cancerous dermoid tumor. I got that removed, and after that was removed, that was when my fertility journey started, because it was that moment that they told me I would never be able to have more kids naturally. It's nothing I can do. All of the wise tales, the have sex and put your legs up and upside down sex and all that, nothing was going to work for me. So I said, okay. I took it in and I tried to live with it, and trying to force myself with living with the idea of not being a mom again was hurting me more than it hurt when they actually told me that. So I finally said, you know what, I'm gonna beat the odds. I went and got checked, and that doctor said, oh, you can have more kids, but we need to get your tube removed. We need to take this left tube out because it's scar tissue, and it was some other stuff she claimed, and they went in and they took it out, and she told me I'll definitely be able to have more kids. Went to my checkup. She then said, natural is never going to happen for you. IUI is never going to happen for you. The only way you would get pregnant is with IVF, and she tried to force me to sign up for it right then and then. Being told that you can't do the one thing that you are brought to this earth to do as a woman. Like, we were created to reproduce. We wasn't put here to cook and clean and all of that nonsense that we do. Our main focus on being put here was to reproduce, was to fill the earth. And I, as a woman, cannot do the one thing that I'm supposed to do. So after a while, I said, let me finally just jump into it, and this is going to be easy. Every time I had a battle in my life, and I've had a few, we'll talk about that another time. But every time I had a battle in my life, I always faced it. I always jumped in. So I thought fertility was going to be nothing. It was going to be a walk in the park. Sound idiotic, doesn't it? You know. Sticking yourself with needles, going to doctor's appointments almost every day, having somebody poke and prong you as if you're some type of science project was going to be a walk in the park. That's the mindset that I walked into this thinking. I had no idea that it was going to be such a roller coaster. This is probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And the reason it's so hard is because anything in my life that I was told I couldn't do, I went out and I proved that I can do it. I was told I wasn't going to be able to go to college. I was from Southeast DC. You're never going to amount to nothing. You're going to end up being pregnant by 16. You're going to do all this stuff. I became a mom at 19. That's better than 16. But I graduated college like they told me I couldn't do. They told me I wasn't going to amount to nothing. I've amounted to everything that I'm supposed to. They told me I wasn't going to be a good mom. My daughter thinks I'm the best mom on the planet. So to go in fertility and not be able to snap my fingers and fix it and accomplish the thing that I'm supposed to do, that's probably one of the toughest battles I've ever gone through. You know, my granddad would always tell us life is going to throw curveballs at you and you just got to catch them. And that sounds so easy. I can just catch whatever life throws at me, but In the middle of that saying, no one ever tells you that sometimes those curveballs is gonna hit your ass, and it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna hurt like hell. Every time I get a negative, I feel like I'm standing in the middle of National Stadium and I'm being hit with the fastest ball in the middle of my heart. And nobody gets that. Nobody. Everybody just thinks that when it comes to fertility, it's the easy way out. You know, it's a piece of cake, it's a walk in the park, it's nothing, and it's everything. And the most frustrating part of going through infertility is anybody that never had to go through something like this, anybody that never had a doctor tell them you can't become a mom, they don't know what it feels like. But they still feel as though they have to give you advice and they have to tell you things, and they don't think how hurtful it is. So in those situations, it kind of make this already lonely process, because that's how it feels lonelier. You feel like you're just in a house by yourself. And I think one of the worst things somebody ever told me was, I think with my first negative for IUI, my best friend at the time, she said to me, well, look at it as a blessing in disguise. At least you don't have to get up with a screaming baby, or at least your days of Chuck E. Cheese is over. You'll have your money in your pocket. And I can remember feeling like, God, I would do anything to have my baby in my arms and walk in Chuck E. Cheese and have my baby screaming because he or she is terrified of the damn mouse. I would give anything for that. And the crazy thing about that is I freaking hate Chuck E. Cheese. Anytime my niece wants to go, my ass itch. You know? But when she said that to me, it just was like, damn, I would give anything. Or people feeling as though because life is so good for you, they feel like if you have another child, that's destroying your life. For me, I feel like, if anything, my daughter made my life, and she made my life better. And everything I am now, I am because I became her mom. And I just don't understand how people feel like babies and kids stops everything, like it's a red light. You can't travel, you can't do this, you can't do that. Why can't I? Why can't you get your kids' passports and still travel? If you're deserving of seeing the world, why aren't they? Why do people think kids are so expensive? What's the difference in having kids to take care of and kids to spend your money on than going out here spending money on any and everything that you're not even going to have in 6 months? I think I wanted to share my fertility story because I get so sick and tired of people making it seem like you have to stay so positive, you have to be so upbeat, you have to just keep hope alive in this process when it's not that freaking easy. It is absolutely okay to be angry. I'm angry a lot. I've asked the Lord many nights, why me? Why can't I do this? That's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay if you watching TV and you see somebody with a baby and you feel envy. That's okay. It is absolutely okay not to be okay. And nobody ever says that in this process. You go to the doctors, they tell you, oh, be positive, keep hope alive, and they give you all this hype. You watch YouTube, everybody's smiling. Nobody smiles when they got a negative pregnancy test. Nobody. So why do we have to pretend like you're okay? I can't speak for everybody, but as for myself, I spent so many years trying to be any and everything for everybody that I had no more room left to be what I needed for me. And for me in this process, what I need is I need the comfort of knowing that it's okay not to be okay. And I just want to tell everybody that's following me, this process is hard. This process is emotional. This process is expensive as hell. This process is a lot, but you have to hold on to that little piece. That little piece that's there saying it's gonna be worth it one day. You don't know what day it's gonna be. You might gotta go through one cycle. You might gotta go through 2 cycles. You might gotta go through 3. It's some women that has gone through 6 cycles. You gonna be okay.